Hey everyone, and welcome back to another Etheria restart video. So in today's video, guys, we are going over Doki Doki. Now, this is a character that was regarded as the best LD like during all of the betas. Now, they did give her a little bit of a readjustment prior to global launch. And, you know, I do think that it was probably warranted. We'll talk about what that was whenever we go through her, but she is still an absolute menace. I think she's extremely good in a bunch of endgame content. She's also good early on. I think a lot of people will probably just be underwhelmed if they do not put lattices in her. I think she's still good without lattices, for sure. But I think once you start upgrading her, man, things just really take a turn. Okay. So she's got two unique buffs to her. The first one is called Backup, which she gets on her skill 1. Now, these backups, these unique buffs are so good in the end game, like so good. It's a form of purifying. She only puts backup on herself, but whenever one of your allies is about to take their turn, if they have any debuffs on them and she has a stack of this backup, she will purify 2 of those debuffs. You can skill this up to 3, which is kind of important in the PvP meta right now, but she's also really relevant in certain endgame content, which I'll show some clips of. Uh, I think a lot of people know how important immunity is in cleansing with like Ling Luo or Kachi the Guard. This is another form of it. Al Although I will say it's not as good as immunity with like Kachi because those debuffs may end up making or breaking a run for you because you can't cleanse them or stop them from being put on right away like you can with immunity. Still, this is a nice form of cleansing uh, that is applied just to Doki Doki. So when it comes to her skill 1, this is also where her speed is on prowess, and you want to have her at the top of the turn order because her other unique buff, Data Stream, is something that is tied to her skill 3, which is a turn meter boost, but it targets the heroes that have the like furthest amount of turn meter on them, meaning they're at the end of the turn order. It's very interesting. You want her at the front so she can boost everybody up. The reason I say that is because if someone is in front of her, if someone's in front, and I'll show you a clip where Kachi the guard is faster than her, he uses his ability and he's at the back of the turn order, and then she uses her skill 3 and turn meter boost everybody, but she wastes it almost entirely on Kachi the guard. And that's not what you want. You want her to push like everybody up a little bit because the data stream buff is very strong. So anyway, skill 1 is good because the backup purifying the 3 debuffs is quite important. Also, increasing this to 100% is extremely important. Having this at 75% is just a real bummer. You want her to have a stack of this backup on her all the time. So her skill 2, it reduces an Animus's skill cooldown by 1, and she does this 5 times consecutively if you end up having this skilled up. And then she can also have up to 12 stacks of data stream once you level this up. So every time that she reduces an Animus skills cooldown, she also puts on one of these data stream buffs, which increases their damage dealt by 2.5% and their speed by 2.5% for each stack. And like I said, if you level this up, they can have up to 12 stacks. So that's an additional, what is that, 25 speed and damage dealt if it's fully skilled up, which is awesome. Now, something to mention about this skill. It does reduce the skill cooldown of an Animus skill, but it does not reduce the skill cooldown of a shell. So Doki doesn't pair extremely well with one of those revelation abusers that have a 3-turn cooldown, like a Silence or a Yelly. Because what ends up happening is she will target those heroes, reduce their skill cooldown, and then their big multiple hit skill uh, gets reduced off of skill cooldown, but the revelation does not. So their damage output actually decreases. It's an interesting interaction. So she pairs extremely well with heroes, like Chloros, with Didding. Shiata's even pretty good because Shiata just AoEs all the time, and then every 3 turns the revelation will proc. But like just burst damage dealers, someone like Romoka, that's where she pairs extremely well. Not so much with the revelation abusers. So that is a skill cooldown reduction uh, skill on her skill 2. Now her skill 3 is awesome. What she does is she boosts the turn meter of somebody by 12% if this is fully skilled up. And she can do this up to 8 times. Without it being skilled, I think it's 5 or 6, something like that. And then she also puts 5 stacks of backup on herself, where with skill 1, it was only 1 stack. So this is an extremely strong skill. So she boosts everybody up to 8 times, but it prioritizes the person that is furthest in the turn order. This is why this hero, I think, maybe isn't as used as often as some of the other LDs, is because the way that her kit works, it's hard to kind of speed tune it. It's very interesting. So you kind of have to play around with your team and the speeds and stuff like that. But once you do, it's very, very strong because this is a huge turn meter boost. So how, where she's best used is in a team that just needs to output a lot of damage or keep up with enemies that might tick up their speed or their damage. All of the Inferno stages are like that. So she can be used in every single Inferno stage. I've got a clip of Terramaton, I've got a clip of Aurora. And where I think she's best in slot is for Sharon Inferno. Like, she makes that dungeon a joke because she's purifying all of the dot effects. And she also has increased speed and damage because Sharon can't be debuffed. So the fact that you're just getting raw damage out of the data stream stacks is super cool. So how do you want to build her? The nice thing is she can be put on almost any shell. It's really awesome. I have her in this shell because I use her in PvP, which I'm not going to show a clip of. But one of the nice things with her leading in PvP with a shell like Jackal Guard is it allows her to have Swift Rush, Swift Smite, and Bulwark. So she can have that first turn immunity. Crowd control meta is a big thing, right? Kazuya the Reverie, you have Obel, all of those different types of heroes that are just stunning and controlling your team so you don't get to go. With Doki Doki in an immunity set and you build her fast, what ends up happening is they either stun or push back your entire team. And then Doki, she will turn meter boost everybody back up. And even if they're stunned, the debuff will end up getting removed because of her backup stacks. So whenever your your ally hero is about to go, if they have like a sleep and attack down on them, the backup procs removes both of those, and then your hero gets to go. So it's really awesome. So I do have her on Jackal Guard, but that's because I wanted to use her in both PvE and PvP without switching things around. But other options that you can do, Codex of Magic is really great on her. It's just one of those things where if you can get that turn meter boost and get more data streams on your ally animuses, it's going to make your runs a lot better. So she can certainly go in there. She can go on Alicorn. Her backups also remove from her, but there are also some points in this game where you'll be going up against content and she's just not fast enough, and maybe she gets silenced or stunned or something at the very beginning of the match. So I think in some instances of content here, Alicorn could be a decent shell on her just to allow her to get off that first skill 3, which will allow the backup to trigger on all of your other heroes. So you can pair her with like a Ling Luo or Kachi the Guard to put up the immunities, and then you're off to the races. So that's another one. Gigabyte is also certainly good. Having her loop back around to her turns is absolutely awesome. Artisan is another one. So yeah, I mean, Halloween, she can literally be put on anything. You don't want to put her on, some kind of damage set. Obviously, Dark Moon is not relevant. Lighthouse is okay as well, just to keep her a little tanky. But I think you want to run her in speed. You can certainly run her in Swift Rush Time Weave just for a PvE standpoint to allow her to loop back around to her skill 3 as much as you possibly can, because it's that good. So I have her, like I said, kind of in a PvP build, but it still works for a PvE. So I have Swift Smite on her for the Inferno bonus, and this is not a good piece. It's just HP with only 7 speed. But then I've got her in Bulwark with HP percentage, and the effect accuracy is also completely useless. She does no debuffs. So this is purely there for the speed, and it's only 8 speed. So that like this gear is kind of garbage. Here we got a little bit of speed. This was nice. A 15 speed bulwark piece is awesome. And then just some speed here. So very, very easy to build this type of character, I think. I'm literally just using the Swift Smite for the 15% speed. But as you saw, most of the pieces are garbage. So I'm sure you can get her up past this if you really tried. Yeah. So let's find some clips so we can show you, and we'll run through these real quick. Okay, so the first one is with, what is this? Aurora? Yeah, so this is Aurora. We're using her in here with Shiada, Viper, and then Mia and Lingluo. Now, I know a lot of people don't have Mia, and to be honest, because you have Doki Doki in here and she has the ability to reduce the skill cooldown on Ling Luo, like you do not need Mia. I have Mia in here for the cooldown reduction to loop back around to the Revelation proc with Shiada. That's the whole purpose of this. You can also use someone like Kazami Kazuyo, which is the SR character that has AoE speed up and skill cooldown reduction. You can use Tsukiyomi. Who else could you use in here? You could use RC77. You could use Kachi the Guard. Like that fifth piece over there is super interchangeable. Because you have so much skill cooldown reduction on the Doki Doki, as well as the purification, if you end up having a Ling Luo that has her skill 1 fully leveled up, she is just going to put up so much of that whale prayer buff, which is a heal, where you only need one healer. She also loops back around to her big heals a lot more often. But as I said, remember, it does not reduce the skill cooldown of the shell itself. So the supernova shell won't get its like increased healing buff as often as Ling Luo is looping back around to her big heals. So something to keep in mind. But this is an extremely safe team, like 100% clear for sure, which I would hope because it's using 4 SSR heroes. But this is very straightforward. Like your team barely goes below the 50% mark just because of all the whale prayers, all the increased healing, cooldown reductions from your entire team. It's absolutely nuts. Like the buffs and all that is just very, very cool to watch how consistent that team is. It is long though. So that is one thing to keep in mind. So that's Aurora. Okay. The next team that we have is Sharon. And this is where I think she is best in class for sure. So this is just a super safe team. I know a lot of people hyped up the Doki Doki Fushu team, and that certainly works here. Like you do not need to use Sonya. I just figured I would bring in 2 SR heroes that some people might have. I'm also using Chloros, but you can use Ditting. It's just I interchange Chloros and Ditting's gear, and I had it on Chloros, so I used him. But Ditting 100% works here because your supporting cast is just obnoxious for this dungeon. So the dots are usually what kill you, right? But because of Doki Doki's backup, you'll see every time Chloros goes, he just cleanses that right off. And that's because she's using this backup stack right here anytime someone has that debuff on them. So Kachi also cleansed his and it took a stack off of here. You'll see when Doki Doki goes, also cleansed it right off. Same thing with Sonya. When Sonya goes next, she'll cleanse these two dots. Like it makes this whole dungeon a joke because the other side ads they remove buffs, they also put up dot and things like that, but without that damage it does absolutely nothing. So you have the immunity from Kachi, you have the cleansing from Sanya, you have the cleansing from the backup from Doki Doki, and then you just slot in X damage dealer. You can literally use whoever you want. You could use, you know, Casio the Reverie in Revelation just to cycle back around to the Revelation procs or whatever. So yeah, this is one of the safest teams out there for Sharon, and it's fairly quick. It might even be faster with Ditting over the Chloros, but the Chloros does end up ramping up over time, which is such a cool kind of character. Uh, so yeah, that's this dungeon. Very very simple with Doki Doki. So if you guys are struggling there and you have Doki Doki, I think it's a shoe in. You can just use any kind of healers there. Like I said, Kachi's amazing. I think one of the characters that you need to look out for, I don't know if I have the character in this run or not. I don't. This is the Teramaton team. So I think Doki is one of the few characters that allows you not to have to run Valerian in a team if you don't want to, because she has the ability to cleanse the heal block and the defense down from your team. So you don't need like the HP stabilization and the shields from your Valerian. But one of the things that really stinks with Valerian is, and if you try and pair Valerian with Doki Doki, just realize that it's not going to work. Doki Doki, like I said, on her skill 3, targets the hero that is towards the back of the turn order. And then she will boost them by that 12% 8 consecutive times and also put data stream on them. The problem is Valerian is usually built very, very slow. And when she's in her hazy dream, she can't get a turn meter boost. So Doki will target Valerian 8 times. She won't move at all. And she'll get all 12 stacks or 8 stacks of the data stream buff, which is here on like your Holden, which is the speed and damage boost. So Valerian gets all of the speed, all of your damage boost, and of course she's not a damage dealer, and you don't want her going fast. So terrible combination. But yeah, so this is again just like a super safe, straightforward team. You don't need to use Holden here. The reason why Holden is just so good in this position is he has attack down and he also has cleanse. So your Fangus can put up the speed down and start dotting like on turn 1. It's very, very convenient and nice. You can use someone like Mia for the dispel. You can use there's another hero that has like attack down. I think it's Red Andrew has attack down. You can use Vice in this instance too if you wanted to. But getting the attack up is just so important. But there's just like tons of combinations to beat this content. You don't need any of the premier like damage dealers or anything like that. You can use Fangus for Teramaton. You can use Ditting for Aurora. Yeah. So anyway, this is what Ditting provides. She just, even though the boss hits hard, even though he keeps looping back around, the fact that you have this data stream up as well as the backup to cleanse those pesky like heal blocks and defense downs, you just have so much speed that you're keeping up with the boss. You can bring the additional healer, and it's just like, I don't know, just seems really safe, extremely consistent. Even if you miss like one of the dispels from the Holden. So there. Those are the 3 different teams that I got for you guys. I don't know how long this video is so far. It's 20 minutes long. But yeah, I've showed the other builds in a bunch of different videos. It's the same exact builds almost everywhere. Kachi, I think I showed multiple times. I'll just give you final stats. So here's the final stats on the Kachi. And if you guys are wondering like how I'm getting these, it's from prowess upgrades on some of the heroes. Um, it's maybe dupes. Here's the Shiata. She's in Revelation. I showed the Kachi. Here's the Viper. Same builds that I've been using. I already showed her. Here's Holden and Artisan. Some effect accuracy. Here's Fangus. He's in Battle Will. Here's the Sonya. Fortissimo. She's also her prowess on skill 3 and skill 2. And I think that's about it. Here's the Ling Luo. Also her skill 1 fully maxed. So skill 1 full prowess. And I think that was it. Yeah, I think that was it. So anyway, I appreciate you guys checking it out. If you guys have Doki, man, she helps in a lot of really hard content. Start abusing her. All right, see ya.